Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to episode 2 of Let's Play Sanctum Arcadia. We have AA2. We're going to resume this and let's take a look at where we are. Level 8. Um, we could use point 0.2 lives. Nice relic cap, but I think lives is pretty high priority. It's a level 10, so we might get a boss, but right now the bosses will snap to your level, so that's not too bad. Um, I might want to spend some item orbs. I should probably, I could make 2 magic, but I think for now the safer place is just try to get it a little bit better. So that's a really good one. This one honestly isn't that good. XP healing is better when later levels when there's more enemies. Um, let's go. Nope. Nope. Maybe. So there's HP regen and shield regen. So the main thing we lose is MP regen and acceleration, and I think that's worth what we get. So yeah, not bad. No, we're not gonna redo that one. No, we really like that item. Nope. No. So I really want to get a better item here, but I guess we'll spend 1 green, and yeah, they just have a chance to be better. It's not a green isn't always better than a white one. Relic. Okay, let's go. So yeah, this is episode 2. I think we have about an hour played so far. We can check in a minute. We need 2 waypoints. I guess the best way is just to hit some of these reds. Level 10, but we're good. We have full fuel. And they're not too rough, so. One sec. Uh-oh. Yep, gotta be on our toes. So, my buddy Kosi, he has, the red ones are probably his least favorite of what can appear in these. Dang. As I was saying, the red ones are probably his least favorite, but I do enjoy them. Yeah, I think everything else is kind of out of the way, so I'm just gonna regen. So I think I said it before, but I'll reiterate. Once your shield hits the cap, the HP regen speeds up, so just watch that. There we go. So just kind of hang out without losing any shield, and that'll do something for your HP. Alright, let's hit this one down here. While still trying to be... I don't mind spending a little fuel this map. There goes my shield. Yeah, and these red zones, I'm probably going to repeat myself a few times, but I just, this... Yesterday I was pretty tired, but I was tired of restarting, trying to get a really good first take, So I'm just gonna let the second video kind of carry a little more weight. I feel a lot better today, so I can actually explain what's going on a bit more. But I probably shouldn't just drone on talking as well. So whenever there's something relevant, I'll say, oh, wait. There is something relevant. We are level 8, so we have a new cooldown. I'll use it next map. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit. So works better in open spaces. Not the best map to show it off, but should I hit? This is kind of tight, but... Oh yes, I got a good weapon. Alright. We'll be fine. Yeah, so at level 8 you get that new cooldown. And... Ooh, that's It's a relic. There we go. I do want that. I'm just gonna go for it. Let's go. Oh, there's two? What? They disappear after a while, so I can't dawdle. Okay, this is messed up. This is messed up. Alright. Okay. I could that blue, if it's safe, I'll go get that blue. I think I'll be alright. Yeah, this gun is nice. Come on. And then we'll just go upwards and get out of here. Yeah, so this is spooky because it's 2 levels above me. I'm gonna use my. This is the cooldown, and I'm going through a lot of red. There we go. So yeah, moves you fast through the map can be very useful, and it costs 12, so it's not too bad. Here's a good place to show it. Boom. We want the blue. It's good XP coef on this map, so we'll use it again. Oh, we got this one. That's a good one. When you hit him, it's good, usually. So, since my fuel's close to a half, I want to prioritize. First, I want to get that. There. Now it's a bit better. But generally, when you have low fuel, you want to play a little bit safer so you don't have to rely on your cooldowns as much. For the case where you encounter a boss map, then that having high fuel helps you deal with bosses. Okay, we got a bunch of these. Relic cap 3. So they're all about the same. I guess that one's probably the better one. Can't get another one except the relic cap. It's often the best just to, okay, so once you have a certain number of relics, whatever we just hit, it starts costing 2 relic orbs per relic here. So this is more of a early boost to your relics. And if I didn't do that, otherwise you'd hit the cap pretty easily, and what's the fun in that? Rerolls are always nice, but I want something with. Yeah, let's just do a level 8. Why not? Rerolls and item orbs, fine. So I'm gonna. It's not a great coefficient here. And once we hit level 10, we get a heal, and that really kind of completes the whole basic kit of your character. And yeah, but we're having these 2 cooldowns is pretty solid already. An equal level map, we're doing pretty good damage. So depending on what's going on in my day-to-day, for anyone who actually does watch this, you may see things change throughout the course of this, because I mentioned last time I want to get several more right-click options, and I think that is priority. Ever since I made the random weapon as a default and added more weapons, this game is, it just feels better, and that usually happens every time I do something good for the game, obviously. But it's nice that some things are still pretty easy to get that that improvement in the game. Should I go? I'll just kind of leave the map relatively quickly. And it bears repeating, I think I mentioned it last time a little bit that I didn't go all out. I want that. I didn't go all out on making a lot of complex enemies and really big player systems aside from what we already have with relics and items. I didn't really do that yet because I just wanted a polished game that had a good challenge and enough RNG in what happens in the map and interesting combinations. Should I get that purple up there? It's kind of stuck in this weird spot. Enough interesting combinations of what happens during the gameplay, of what sort of upgrades you get. I just wanted all that in a decent place as soon as possible before I revisited many things that need work. Like you'll notice the background is the same. I'll get some of these. The background, there's only one background pretty much. There is one or two more, but they aren't generally seen. One is in this thing called the purple verse, which once we hit level 10 or once we start doing more level 10 maps, you'll probably see one. It's a little bit of a different mode that's kind of rare to encounter. This weapon is great. You can just focus on dodging stuff while you generally aim in the right direction. I'm low on mana though. MP, I don't know, is that mana? I kind of want to call. I think it's too late at this point, but I think it almost makes sense to call fuel mana, and then what is currently MP, just call that like energy, perhaps. It's fine as long as we know what we're talking about. What do we have? So when I hit level 10, a new item slot opens up. So I'm just going to save most of my item orbs so I can spam and just try to fill that slot once we get there. I'm going to try to avoid level 10s, especially infested. I guess we'll just do this. Okay, I'm going to go for those big ones. I should show off the combo here after this. Come on. Alright, so when we use these together, which I'll do in a second, you go real fast. Real big, real fast. I could also, I think it'd be a fun thing to allow the player to select a preferred weapon which they'll receive like 2 times as much or 2.5 times as much as any other weapon. That wouldn't be too difficult to pull off. We're ready. The bombs from those guys should probably do more damage. Do I want to reset my zone depth? I wouldn't mind. Nothing really great here. I do kind of want to keep the XP coefficients high, so I'm not going to reset my zone depth. So I'm just going to do whatever maps I need. Yeah, so I just wanted to get all the systems in a decent place to really kind of work together. That's a good gun. To really work, I don't know if I need to do that, whatever. To work together to showcase, just to experience myself, especially, what it all feels like when it's put together in a playable package. And this is it. And I'm pretty happy, assuming that there's more work to be done that will be done. I'm pretty happy with what I have. I think it was good that I spent time on getting the map system in a pretty good place. Should I go for those? You know, I might. I'll just leave the map. Hmm. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on the map system, and it can do quite a bit more than what it's doing. Right now, it's only using one mainly one sort of tile, which is a square one, where it can support at least 15 different generated shapes, and you can see a little bit of that in the boss, the tutorial zone and the boss maps, because those are edited and just made in the editor, where all these obviously are generated. And I think the ideal world is to combine those. So you figure out how you can have, and it's definitely possible, you have just sort of pre-generated piece or pre-edited pieces that you can fit together, and it knows where to start the generation and stop the generation. So I think that'll be a later update at some point. So yeah, I think the my thoughts on the game are continuing my thoughts on the game. One sec. Level 10 relic cap. I really want a little more relic cap. But then we're probably going to fight a boss. I guess it's 2 item orbs, relic cap, and 2 zone depth. That's pretty good. But enemy damage, does that? I don't know if that applies to the boss. I think it does not. Even if it is, we take on a boss. We're capped out on lives, so. Oh, right, all right, purple verse. You don't have to read all that, but there's a timer, so you do want to plan it out. You want to hit up to 5 waypoints. We might only hit 1 or 2. You have to hit at least one to go to the exit, the white waypoint. You have to hit at least one, so obviously we'll just go straight left and see how rough this map gets. It's a simplified map. It's just a lot of environmental effects and very few enemies. But the longer you're in the map, the faster the spawn rate of things. I think some of the damage of them is scaled. Pretty sure it is. So it's basically I'm gonna go for at least 2. Right click was not up. So I'm gonna play it a little bit slow and carefully and not use my cooldowns unnecessarily. Yeah. And those meteors do a lot of damage. Did I apply? They may, and I think what I wanted to do was have them react to. This is rough. This is rough. Okay, I'm gonna hit this and leave. It's getting a little too crazy. Let's go. Yeah, we are slightly clutching. Easy game, easy game. And then you have to survive. Everything stops spawning. 3 item orbs is not worth risking too much, but I'll be able to get him here. These do not have a really short timer. You can take your time to. If they go out of bounds, if they go too far away, you may not be able to get him. It's not worth it for 1 item orb. So yeah, that map will. What happens is the counter that tracks how many maps it's been since a boss fight will spawn either a boss fight or that map, which is good because then it resets that boss fight counter. So we can do a few level 10 maps if we want without too much concern of that. I think it starts off at 5% and then it ramps up by about 7-ish% each map. Something around there. But we have a nice 1.5 here. I was saying something about the oh yeah, my thoughts on the game. So it's playable, you know, and again, I don't wanna come to any strong conclusions on the current state of my game because that's not really my place. But I am excited to to have it at this point, even though there are some things that obviously could use improvement and variety. I think the gameplay as it is decently polished, and there's nothing that's too obviously messed up with it. So, and I guess it's time to briefly. I could hit that waypoint, but nah. To briefly mention an interesting thing. Well, first, easy path here. Let's just go boom. I want that relic orb. Combo, and I want that relic orb. And I might want that fuel as well. And there we go. So this game is largely open source. The bare bones engine in C++ is not open source at the moment, maybe someday, but most of this game is written in MoonScript, which is a language that converts to Lua, and it's very nice to use. So glad that big props to, I think he goes by Leaf, or that might be his name. The guy who made MoonScript has been a great help in my projects. All right, so. Let's see, because we're playing hardcore, and when we really die, we go back to level one. I don't think we need to worry too much about saving things for death. So I might as well just use. Oh, we got a relic cap. We can do that. Actually, I can 3 orbs into 1 there. So yeah, I don't need. Normally, I would save a few relic orbs, a few item orbs, but especially relic orbs for dying, because yeah, you lose 3 normally you'd lose 3 lives and most of your relics. So, but now we're losing all of our lives. 1.7, 2 zone depth, 1.8, level 12 though. So we're just gonna do this. Oh, it spawned another purple verse. So I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna spit. It is 2 levels higher, and the scaling in here can get really rough. So I'm just gonna go for 2. And later on, you get better move speed and all that, so it's easier to go for a higher number of these. Come on. Just hit this, and it's all over. There we go. This weapon benefits from hitting a wall. So open spaces, 4 item orbs, 5. We did get a magic item orb. Nah. It looks good. It's not bad, but this one's better. Alright. The good news is if we do spawn a boss, yeah, I'm not sure. It's not really that big of a deal right now, but I may have the boss like snap to within 1 level of you, but I don't want players having to fight a boss that's too much higher than them. So I'm going to repeat a little bit of what I said the first episode, because that one is kind of slow, and each one will be a little bit more interesting as I gain cooldowns and move a bit faster, so you can see the gameplay loop a bit quicker. Oh, that blocked me there. Those guys can be annoying. Oh, this one is just a single. Okay. This weapon I haven't tested since I changed it. I did buff its damage a bit. But, well, can't judge it too much on this map. It's higher level. I shouldn't be hanging around. I should just get out. Yeah, so a lot of the game is open source. Just throwing that out there. Again, I don't want to hang out too much on these maps, so I'm just going to go this way. So an idea that I've been thinking about for a while now, and one that may really be a big have a big impact on the long term of this game, is allowing the player to really, right now we can customize some of the gameplay attributes. Hang on. It's good XP, so it's worth spending a little fuel. Just being a higher level than this. That's it. So, yeah, we do allow the player aspect. Nice. Yeah, we want that. Ooh, we got some item orbs. Yeah. 10 HP regen. Yeah, I think that's... And all the others are pretty good, so... Might as well. It's almost... Probably an upgrade. Oh, dang. That is a big upgrade. 10 damage and 10 HP. And again, those are not just raw damage and HP. Those are a percent multiplier at the end of your... Yeah, so that one. And there is a 10% chance to roll one tier higher. So when we start making blue items, rare items, there's a 10% chance it'll be purple and potentially have even higher stats. Oh, this is interesting. Obviously, we're not going to replace what we just made, but auto damage, boost, auto damage is nice, but if it was 10, I would probably do it. No. Okay. And again, eventually I'll have an inventory system, and so you can, we'll be able to loot items from maps, and that'll really help evolve the item system. Let's go up. So eventually I want to allow the player, right now we allow the player to customize a lot of important things, mostly concerning difficulty and the rate of progression in different ways. But I also want to basically have there's different ways to do it, but I don't know if I want it on the main screen, but I think I'd like, there's, because it's such a weird thing to do, I'm not sure how it should fit into the game as like being an option, a permanent option in a save, or something you can just switch between maps, or something that is tied to a specific zone. But I want to change. That one's good. I don't really need all these lives, but you always want max lives. So basically making a new player class that didn't necessarily operate even as like a spaceship. It might operate like a guy walking around, and maybe that zone will have, the basics of terrain in the background instead. And all the enemies will be walking. Or maybe, if I really wanted to get funky, you could leave the enemies as ships, or have the option to switch them. So, you could you could really customize the gameplay how you want. I'm not sure if that makes sense to allow everything to be changed independently, but I could see this being, we could do what's it called, a platformer. This sort of map style would probably be really cool as a platformer, but we will have to work on the map generation a bit to ensure the player doesn't start at the bottom and has to figure out how to jump their way up. I'm not sure how that, maybe I'll give the player a big cooldown to get them to help with their elevation. And part of that is me keeping the game relatively simple. Like, this is simple. It does the job, but it's simple enough. Okay, level 10. These are both level 10. Player damage. I just want to avoid that enemy damage, so I'll do this one. And while I have above 1 life, I'll be okay staying in a higher zone depth. Yeah, so because I didn't make a huge world map and everything, that would kind of set the game a bit more in stone. I've really just tried to keep things generally simple and polished, so that will allow me to experiment with new gameplay modes quite a bit easier than if I had made a huge world map and, a lot of new specific features. Because I don't think a platformer world map would look the same as a space world map. And the good thing is, once I start experimenting with new modes, but that's probably going to take some time because you're going to have to adjust enemies. However, when we get enemy generation in, we could probably, that will save a lot of work of making new enemies. 2.5, that's pretty good. We're level 10, so we have a new cooldown. And we have the possibility to hit an item there, so... I don't know if I want to do 2. Yeah, actually, it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Let's go. I'm going to try to hit at least a couple waypoints. So that will allow me to reuse a lot of the tech that I've built here. Everything I do, I don't have keybinds specifically yet, but whenever I do that, I don't have to redo them. I could basically make almost another game, at least as far as how you see the player interacting. I'm not sure to what level I can easily take it. I would like to make a game that is quite different than this, but within this game almost. And I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself and assuming a lot, but I do want to share at least a little bit of the hype or what is possible depending on how much time I can work on this in the future. And I will always have some time to work on it, just how much is the question. We're low on fuel. We need to think about that. But we are getting some nice levels. Careful with damage around here. So yeah, I think actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to finish this map and then we're going to reset our zone depth. And we're going to fight a boss first. So we have that heal. 1 boss, that's good. This one isn't too bad to deal with. My weapon is not bad. So I guess, there's a lot of RNG in how the boss spawns to the map. This isn't the best map to deal with bosses because it's kind of tight, but you do have ways of avoiding them. So anyways, to summarize, this game may have different gameplay modes in the future, in the long-term future. And one of those might be way better than this. just by its nature of what it offers, and that'd be fine. And then maybe I would decide to put more resources into building that one up instead of this. I don't know, but it's not like I'm going to abandon one. It's just I'm going to balance what I do, and ideally, if I have several game modes, a lot of the features I make and improvements I make will just work in all of them, regardless. If I make new cooldown tech to help simplify making cooldowns or spells, and just have certain standard things I could use, and then just fill in some graphics and parameters a bit better, then that would improve all the whatever games I have here. I call them games, but whatever game modes. And this is rough. This is rough. I use my heal. I might use it again. No, we're good. He is almost dead. Might as well just do that. Ooh, I didn't want that. There we go. There it is. And I have died once after the bosses died. That's always fun. Not really any great. At the higher level you are, the more chance it has to spawn the higher tier item orbs. Okay, but now that we're done with that, guess we'll spend one here. Let's go to the portal verse and get outie. Oh, you know what? Let's do an experiment here. I think at level 10, is it level 10 or 15? It should give you, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, no. When does that happen? I may have just discovered a bug. I don't think so. I thought I saw my buddy getting higher level and being able to. There should be 2 more zones. Maybe. What is it? I'll have to look into that. There should be 2 more zones. I'm not too worried about it. I can still play the game just fine, but let me check the time. I got maybe 15 minutes. Don't need any lives. I almost want to use I don't have enough rerolls to start spamming them. So yeah, without getting into a bunch of what if in the future, what ifs, I'm excited. This, just a brief history. Well, nah, I'll save that big story because it's hard to summarize it for a video dedicated to that. But I've put a lot of time into my projects, and it's always been when I get to this point in a project, I usually have to decide: am I still gonna try to expand it, or am I going to take a break and move into another project? And I released another game on Steam. I'm not gonna mention it necessarily right now, but it's all right. It's got some stuff going for it, but it definitely could have been better as a game. As a sort of technology thing, it was pretty decent, but as a game, it fell short in a number of ways that, again, could be fixed with some work, and maybe I'll do that at some point. But in the moment, I just did not have the patience to try to fix it when I released it, and just kind of moved on from it. But took a lot of lessons away from that one. And when this one was released, it is difficult to get eyes on something and see. And maybe I'm overstating what this game is. I think you have to kind of play it or see it played for a while to really get what the value here is. If you just take a 10-second glance, you'll say, "Oh, that's interesting," but what's it about? So, but with this one, just seeing my buddies play it and playing it myself, and knowing that it was something I could play for a while if I had to, if I wanted to. I definitely think that this one is worth continuing, and so whatever I do in my coding time will always at least have some effect on this game in some way. So sometimes I refer to this as my project because in the end, it can be a bit more than a game, you know? Like I have this thing, I haven't showed it off yet, but might as well just give you a quick little sample. So this is a little visualizer thing, kind of quickly done. It's not too crazy, but it does make some interesting visuals here and there. And it tells you stories of randomly generated stories. We're not going to spend much time on that right now. Let's see. Max lives. We'll go for one more max lives and then call it a day. I don't need, that's a, yeah. So again, if you're watching this and you know, I think the general reaction would be that's, you know, it's definitely it's a new game. There aren't too many that do exactly what I'm doing here. That, you know, certain combinations of gameplay or progression styles, and so that's part of the reaction, I think. But then it's also, well, I'm seeing the same stuff. You ideally want more of a path of progression through zones and content and enemies and bosses to have a bit of a story, you know, whether it's implied or specific. And all of that I do want to do, but I want to be careful about how I do them. So there's a everything I work on, I really kind of at this point plan for doing right as opposed to doing fast. I could do all these things fast. I could have new backgrounds in. I could generate 10 new zones. So there's, you know, right now there's 3, and then you unlock 2 more at level 10, or you're supposed to, and 2 more at level 20. That's enough for the moment, but definitely want to double that at least pretty soon. But I also want to work on a little bit of the tech behind it before I commit to hard coding certain zones, new zones. So yeah, that's just part of the process at this point. But the point being, I intend to prioritize quality over quantity or speed, while still maintaining some sort of efficient approach to things. And I guess we can do one more. I do kind of want to just hit a boss fight, just to have one more boss fight. And I think, as far as what I'm thinking about for end game, because right now the game is just see how far you can get. Damage scales. In normal mode you can get to 30. It's not too bad. In hard mode you probably can get to 30 without, you know, if you play well, you can get to 30. And I'm getting blocked here. I'll just leave this map. I'm low on fuel. Starting level is not bad, and that's honestly in this mode. I don't know how much it'll help because it is capped at 3. But now that I'm playing this mode, it might make sense for us to, let's just do it. It might make sense for us to have a conditional cap. We'll see. That's the whole reason we're playing hard mode, or hardcore, is to really punish death. Yeah. And I'll use a heal, why not? So now I am effectively out of fuel, so I need to play really tight. I'm gonna grab that if I can. I'm not gonna play too risky, I do want that. And hopefully it stops now and just hits this. Come on. No. There we go. Let's go. Hit it. Alright. Let's get out of here. Already getting kind of high zone depth. 3 item orbs, rerolls. You know, it's always a good idea to stock up on rerolls. Let's do a bit of a lower level map to regenerate some fuel if I can. I don't particularly care for this weapon. but as long as it can kill enemies, it's all right. And again, I'm gonna actually what I'll do is for the moment I'm gonna switch the style just to have some footage of what it's like when you can play with WASD and aim. It's definitely the game feels different. I think that's a good thing that there's already a couple different ways to play the game. Yeah, it definitely feels like you can play a bit tighter like that. Enemy damage, but 2 map rerolls, we gotta do it. Get out of this spot here. It does feel strange to me to like control with WASD, just because I'm so used to not doing that. This is actually this map or this gun feels really good in this mode. Yeah, so you can play a lot more defensively because you can just sit here, turn to the side, so you can dodge things easier and spam shoot things. So it's definitely an easier way to play the game, I think, or at least to me. Ooh, relic, let's go. And I want that fuel. And I'll just go, I can go down here. By the way, let me just show there's keybind lists, some player stats, I don't know how useful those are right now, and options. So you can reverse stereo, change toggle fire to off, and sometimes that's good, especially later on, but early on I like to keep toggle fire on, that's personal preference. Yeah, see, gotta be careful. Fuel, come on, fuel, and healing, easy. Let's go. No. When you hit the exit point, it heals you before it fades out, so. Alrighty, I'm 11, and let's see how long we've been here. About 47 minutes. We can always afford to do one more. I say that, and this is going to be a tough one. Not too tough, hopefully. So in a way, it is almost preferable to play with this control scheme, but I'm not going to do that as the majority of this playthrough. I will do 1 or 2 more maps with this mode. We have a fair amount of fuel now. We're in decent shape. And really that heal it might be the most important cooldown, because this is great in maps where you can just clear the screen and deal with whatever's killing you, but in boss fights, that's good to put damage on the boss, but you'll need that heal. Relic cap is always good, and we have some nice coefficients now. And we get enemies, which is actually not good for the XP coefficient. Alright, I'm hoping these, I don't know how these, oh yeah, they do well. We have 2 bosses, okay, so this is going to be another tough boss fight. So I'm going to focus up and chat at you after it. I do not want to go in that zone. Considering using a heal, but I want to preserve my fuel. But it's probably a good idea to do that. You know what? I'm turning on my mouse movement again. Just feels more natural for me. Ouch. Crash. Probably should hit that if I can. And they don't last very long. I just spammed all my cooldowns. So my buddy Kosi had a great strat, which is running around in a circle to regenerate and collect more orbs. I don't know if it's safe to hang out here, but I don't really need that. You can get stuck on the edges of those, but I don't really mind. I think that's kind of a... Perhaps I'll formalize it a bit more and have some... yeah, hang on. Sorry about that. Generic ringtone, huh? Like I'd care to get a custom ringtone. We're getting out of here and flying through that. This is actually a little bit tough. So yeah, when you're close to this guy, he starts shooting out those red things, and that's a bit scary. I want that. I messed it up. I do really want that because I have low fuel. Gonna heal. Gonna get this healing. Risk it all. Get that fuel. I messed it up. There we go. I'm gonna... I don't want to... I wanted to do one. I think it's fair time to do that and come over here. Again, these little red dots do just a little bit of damage, but they also help apply the burn, what I call the burn debuff, which you can see is a little orange thing by the boss's health. So I'm pretty low. I'm gonna save my MP for a heal, and I'm gonna get away from this guy. It's looking a little bit sketchy. I do want that. I'm gonna try to get out of here without using a heal. Using it. And going for that. I need that. Got it. Fuel. So yeah, bosses are a bit different than the rest of the game. And another heal. Low, very low. We do want both of these. I could attract... I guess the physics aren't working on some of them, all of them. But when they're in the wall, I think you can actually attract them. If you... I should put out some damage. So I believe if they fly close enough, whatever's flying around will slowly target them. My right click is not available as much as I want it. Okay, we're actually okay. Heal. Get out of here. Deal with these. Oh, there's two fuel up and my right click. You know, I'm just... That's why cooldown reduction is so great. There we go. Now we can focus up on one. One is not as scary. In fact, I can afford to do that. And there we go. Sometimes they... Okay, dude. I have things I need to get over here. Chill out. I want that. I want that. And I want that. I guess I'll take that too. We did it. Actually, kind of easy. Okay, I guess you need to... Oh, I think... Okay, once the bosses despawn, then there's some weird behavior with how these bullets register enemies. No biggie. Good to know. Okay, that's gonna mark the end of this. I guess I'll spend a few... I'll just save those. No, actually, we're gonna spend item orbs to try to fill in. There we go. And actually a decent one. Cooldown recovery. Let's see if we can hit that again. HP versus damage. I do like, yeah, MP regen. Cooldown I think that's actually better. I'll hang on to these for a while. I'm gonna wait till I hit 5 relic cap to spend more, I think. Alright guys, so this is my game. Let me just load this up again. Oh, it's doing crazy stuff. I think that turns off the text. Let me see. That should, yeah. So this is my game, Sanctum Arcadia. And this is episode 2 of the Let's Play. I think each one will probably be about an hour. That works pretty well, I think. Or I'll try to make it about an hour. And yeah, I think it has, I think people, if they watch this and they like that sort of game, then they can see that it's already polished in some of the things it has. It has it definitely has a challenge, and you can control the settings of how much of a challenge it is. And it could definitely use more content and more features. But I think it's off to a pretty good start, or beyond a start. It's getting to the point where once I have something to help direct the player through a bit more of a series of tasks or something, or storylines or whatever, then the game will feel a lot more complete. And I think it will also greatly benefit from having some sort of end game. End game will be some sort of new system that will probably start activating after you hit level 20. And so when you're between level 20 and 30, you'll be able to access some of the end game things, which will be not sure yet, but I do have some ideas. And I think that will also piggyback off of some new features, perhaps player customization. Yeah, we'll see. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to have a third video out soon. This is just the day after I recorded the first one. My schedule for the next week or so will probably allow me to record one of these a day, hopefully. I think I'm gonna upload them all at once. Why not? All right, guys. I'll catch you later. Thanks.